The assassin shoved a 1,000-volt stun gun into the agent's mouth, desperate to extract a military secret. But the agent remained silent. With rescue forces closing in, the assassin left behind a corpse. Strangely, instead of pursuing the killer, the CIA immediately transported the agent back to a laboratory. They opened his skull, for the military intelligence was known only to him and concerned national security. While he still clung to life and his neurons remained active, headquarters brought in a death row inmate to transplant the agent's memories into his brain. With preparations complete, the neurosurgeon drilled a small hole in the prisoner's skull. A robotic arm was then precisely guided to the frontal lobe, where theta waves were emitted to induce neural patterns identical to the agents within the prisoner's brain. Initially, the procedure progressed smoothly, but during the final stage, the prisoner's body temperature began to skyrocket, rapidly approaching the limits of physical endurance. If the operation wasn't halted, the prisoner's life would be in grave danger. Upon hearing this, the CIA director present flew into a rage. He ordered the doctors to continue the surgery regardless of the prisoner's survival.
Carry on!
Fortunately, at the critical moment, the prisoner's temperature stabilized, allowing the procedure to be completed. Afterward, Director Gordon was the first to storm into the ward, demanding the prisoner reveal the military intelligence. But the prisoner, having just undergone surgery and suffering excruciating headaches, had no interest in listening to Gordon's nonsense. Regardless of the prisoner's condition, Gordon continued to drone on about the events surrounding the agent. Suddenly, fragmented scenes began flashing through the prisoner's mind. Strangers flooded his vision. The surgery seemed to have worked, but all he wanted now was to escape this hellhole. So he deliberately lied to Gordon, claiming he remembered nothing, dashing his hopes. Believing the operation had failed, Gordon stormed out in anger. He ordered his men to take the prisoner back to his cell and to find an opportunity to eliminate this useless waste. On the way, the prisoner saw the agent in front pull out a small vial of poison, clearly intended for him. He noticed a metal strip on the window, bit it off with his teeth, bent it into a hook shape, and reached through the mesh toward the driver. He yanked it back, snagging the driver's neck. Instantly, the vehicle careened out of control, slamming into an oncoming car. Another agent was flung from the vehicle. The prisoner exited, smashed the front rear-view mirror, and used the shards to cut through the leather straps binding his hands. Then he set fire to both man and vehicle. His name was John. A severe head injury in childhood had prevented the development of his frontal lobe, rendering him cold-blooded and violent from a young age, a machine devoid of emotion. It was precisely this trait that made him the ideal test subject. Starving after a day without food, he entered a restaurant seeking sustenance, but he had no money. The staff wouldn't give him any, but that didn't matter. He simply snatched someone else's food without even glancing at the owner. Seeing this, a staff member grabbed a hammer